Hi everybody, this is Angie from Tourangie.com and today I'm in Princeton. I'm about to come to the Crossroads area where we'll be taking a right and going up Route 20 and heading towards Athens and beyond. This little section between Princeton and Athens, a part of it is called Pisky, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of that area during this drive as we continue on through some of the roads of Mercer County. This is Oakville Road that we are on now, and it's at the bottom of this hill. We'll be taking the right to get onto Route 20. But if you stay straight, it takes you to the Main Street area of Princeton where there's a lot of the old town, basically. There's the Railroad Museum, and there's cruising on Main Street that I guess was really popular back in the day, but it's still done. But there's a lot of cute restaurants. There's a coffee shop, a restaurant, restaurants, a lot of shops. It's a really cute little place to go, is the downtown area of Princeton, and you would stay straight there. Now, if you took a left here at this red light, that would take you to Stafford Drive, which is full of regular businesses, the grocery stores, and all that kind of stuff. So Princeton is considered a large city for Mercer County. So we are now on Route 20, so let's talk about Pisky. It is located between Princeton and Athens on the old Red Sulphur Turnpike that meets State Route 20. It is about 4 miles southwest of Athens and 4 miles northeast of Princeton. Alonzo Gooch and 3 Fletcher brothers, Joseph, Roland, and William, were the early settlers and landholders in what would become the Pisky community. On November 11th, 1818, Joseph Fletcher married Elizabeth French, the widow of William French. And in about 1819, Joseph and Elizabeth French settled in what is now Pisky. They bought 248 acres on the Christian Fork. They had 2 houses on the farm, one on the east end and the other on the west end where they lived. Joseph and Elizabeth had 6 children. Roland Fletcher, which was one of the first early settlers that I talked about, he was brother to Joseph and William. Well, he married Sally French. According to his will, probated in 1849 in Giles County, they had 7 children: Madison Allen, Calvin, Elizabeth, Mary, John, Floyd, Eliza, and Sarah. Alonzo Gooch had procured the land in the Pisky area in 1833, but did not move here until 1844. Alonzo and Mary Frances Porter Gooch had 7 children: Mary, Thomas Churchill, Eliza Josephine, Benjamin Porter, Alonzo, Irving Goodloe, and Lucy Mary. I think it's Mary. It's spelled Mari. William Henderson French, a wealthy landowner and real estate agent, was another early settler. He built a mansion in the area in 1853, and it was bought by the Shoemate family in 1872 after his death. Between 1850 and 1860, 12 families lived in the Pisky area. Most of them were farmers, but William Henderson French owned the farm that was 2,200 acres. Some of the names of the families that lived in the Pisky community were Lucian Grigsby, Alonzo Gooch, Thomas C. Gooch, Calvin Fletcher, William Bruce, Nimrod Whitaker, William Stafford, Alexander Johnson, and Jacob Larman. In the late 1850s, Pisky Church was built with logs. One of the first Methodist conferences in Mercer County was held at that church. Some of the early men who preached at the church were George Green, George Stewart, J.W. Bennett, Daniel Carr, and Philip Sutton. Robert Sheffey and the other well-known Methodist circuit riders preached from the pulpit. A new church was started in 1866 and completed in 1867. 20 years later, in 1886, Joseph and Rosa Stafford deeded land for the new Pisky Methodist Church. John W. Johnson served as steward for 35 years, and Joseph Stafford was the Sunday school superintendent for 35 years. William M. Reynolds of Concord Church in Athens taught the first school in the Pisky community in the late 1850s. Classes were held at the church. Later, the school building was built in the Johnson neighborhood and was called the Johnson School. In the 1920s, 2 wooden schools and a 1 brick school served the area. The land was rich in timber, but agriculture was the chief pursuit of the men of Pisky. The land was good for grazing sheep and cattle and raising hogs. Men took their grain to the Gooch Mill, located in East Princeton, which was also called Goochville. With the coming of the railroad, the timber business boomed in the county, and men and women worked in the sawmills, one of which was located on the John Barbary estate. The railroad also provided jobs for many of the men in the area. Prominent homes of the early settlers of Pisky included the following families: Fletcher, French, Stafford, Bailey, both Maston and Phillips, Hearn, Gooch, Bryan, Blake, Barbary, and Jenkins. The Pisky Farm Women's Club was organized in 1924 with memberships of 17. The women were active in the Mercer County State Fair, or Mercer County Fairs too. And then this little thing in the book talks about the many people of Pisky community who lived to be nearly 100 years old. And it mentions their names. It was Calvin Fletcher, James Bryan, Armida Johnson, Julia Barbary, Nanny Gore Hearn, who lived to be over 100. So I figured I'd just include that in here while I was talking about Pisky. Now, as I've been talking and you've been going with me on this drive, you have seen the areas. You've probably seen the interstate overpass near Melrose Square, which was the area that was called Melrose. And we're in the curvy section. Route 20 can go more curvy, and then it can go straight again. But it's still a really good road with speed limits up to about 55 miles per hour in some places. But this is a perfect road to travel on for a road trip, just to get out and see the state of West Virginia, driving through Mercer County, but all the other counties on Route 20. This is the perfect road for an autumn drive. As we're getting closer to the end of the year, when the leaves start to change their colors, this is the perfect place for a drive to look at the beautiful leaves. This video, I'm going to be shutting it off just right up here. My next video is going to be specifically about Athens, so I'll have to start talking about Athens early. But there is a road up here that cuts to the left right here, and that takes you to Interstate 77. So this is Angie from Tourangie.com. Come to my website, read my blogs, and make appointments so I can help you plan your next travel adventure. Talk to you later.